Hi everyone, welcome to After Class.
A podcast by two passionate adult ballerinas about all things adult ballet related.
And some random thoughts in between.
We're so glad you're here.
So grab your water bottle
or a cup of coffee
and join us for a quick chat after class.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of After Class. Today we're going to be talking all about tights. So we're going to share with you guys our favorite styles, our favorite brands, the differences between colors and different ways that you can wear them. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Hello, Yelena.
Hello, Hannah. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I had class this morning, so I am nice and warm and energized.
That's good. That's good. I just started my day, so I'm still a little bit sleepy. However, yesterday I had two classes. They were all privates and new students. And I had to do like a lot of demonstration. And I thought I was going to be a little bit more sore with the belly. Like it's really heavy at the moment. But I forgot how much I love ballet. And I was just doing grand pliés the whole time. I'm like, oh, look at me showing off. 32 weeks pregnant doing grand pliés in every position. I was like, at the end, it was like only 45 minutes each class. Gosh, I was in so much pain. Like these little pains on my abs. I'm like, oh, come on.
That's so funny. I feel like Grand Pliés is like the one thing that I would probably, well, not the one thing, one of many things that I would probably avoid when I was really pregnant. I'd be like, if I go down, I might not be able to get back up. So we should honestly probably do a whole episode about just your pregnancy journey, because I know that there are people that listen that are also moms or maybe are going to become moms. And I'm sure as a ballet dancer, there's a lot just happening mentally in addition to physically as you're watching your body change, and the ways that you have to adjust your training, the ways that you're having to kind of have extra grace for yourself with like having to pull back a little bit. So that would be a good episode. We should do that.
Yeah, we should do that. So about today's episode, I love it because it's just like, well, it's just the tights. Like, oh, we can put some leggings on or whatever. But the reality is tights made the ballerina. Like,
Yeah.
that's the theme. You put the tutu, you put the leotard, but if you don't put the tights, it doesn't finish the outfit all the way to the point shoes or the demi points. So I think definitely.
Yeah, they're definitely an essential piece of the whole ensemble. And maybe we should even just start with why tights, because I've heard people either that are new to dance or like don't know about ballet kind of question what's the point of tights. And I think it's important to understand that there is a reason behind them, and it's really so that your teacher can see exactly what your legs are doing. And even especially with pink tights, and we'll get into the different color options in the episode, but especially with pink tights, and the reason that a lot of students are required to wear pink or a lighter color like a flesh tone color is so that they can really see how your muscles are even engaging. And so that's kind of the main reasoning behind tights.
Something very interesting is when we are, at least in the ballet school in Cuba, from the age of 7, so the first 2 years of the career, 7 to 9, we don't wear any tights. It's just the leotard and not skirts. I do like the idea of the first 2 years where they are creating muscle memory, when they are learning what muscles are what. The teacher can actually see the reaction of the legs or the backs engaging without skirt and without tights. However, that's exactly the same reason why we used to have the thighs. For the teacher to be able to see when the muscles are contracting the most or engaging the most, for the student to really have compression, but at the same time feeling the muscles tight, but with visibility enough for the teacher to see. And that's why they are not meant to be black early in your learning.
Yeah, so that's kind of the reasoning behind tights. So I'm going to start out with a extremely controversial question in the ballet world. Do you wear your tights under your leotard or over? I'm asking this as an adult dancer because I will say that for students, at least from my own experience and most schools that I'm aware of, you have to wear them under your leotard.
Yeah.
But as an adult, you have the choice. A lot of professionals will just throw them over their leotards. So what is your opinion and your personal preference when it comes to tights over or under leotards?
Oh man, that's so hard, especially for me. I remember I like if you go on my YouTube channel, you will see maybe 2% of my videos, which is like over 200 or 300 videos at the moment. I have my tights under the leotard. I barely and rarely put them on top of the leotard. I don't know why, but the funny thing is it feels cool and I love them putting them on top of the leotard now and then and I try, but then when I record a video and I see myself doing pour the bras forward and back and then you see the full white thighs and the bottom and I'm like no, I'm like I'm exposing too much and I'm super covered like I have the leotard and undies and everything but I feel like I'm showing everything. So I was
Yeah.
under the leotard.
Yeah, mostly under. Yeah, it kind of goes back and forth for me. I think when it's pink tights, I tend to go more under the leotard because I'm the same way. Like when you bend forward or when you do an extension to the side, I hate the way it looks. I think it's called the gusset. It's like essentially the crotch area of your tights. And in pink tights, that's usually also pink or like a light color. And when you like extend your leg, you're getting this like really light colored gusset that's just kind of like out there. And I don't know, I just feel like it looks kind of weird. But for black tights, I don't mind as much wearing them over. And sometimes I will throw pink tights over a leotard, like especially if I'm just doing class at home, because for some reason it feels easier. I don't know why it feels easier because it's the same amount of steps to put them on first or to put them on second. But for some reason, it just feels like more casual or something to wear them over your leotard. So I kind of go
I
both.
know. You know what will make the difference though as well? The quality of the tights. Now I'm thinking about it, like as you were talking, I'm like, yeah. So I always had, I don't know why, but I always had really good quality and good brands, pink or light tights. However, for black ones, because it's just black, I didn't mind. And I remember buying them, lots of them in China, and gosh, they were the worst and most horrible tights to wear because they will stretch like from the waist to the toes. They will stretch as much as you can. You could put someone like I don't know, the height would be 3 meters high, but then you couldn't stretch it sideways, so my legs wouldn't fit, and they would be running down and running down. And it's true. When I wear black tights, I mostly put them on top of the leotard. That's true. But then I remember why I changed that. Because they kept running down. I keep pulling them as I'm teaching. And I was like, nah, this is not worth it.
Yeah, and I think that remind me too. I think you're right. If you wear them under your leotard, it kind of helps keep your tights up because the leotard is holding them up. And I do notice that when I wear my tights over my leotard, I end up pulling my tights up more. And I'm just now putting together that it's because the leotard is doing a lot of the work if you have it on the outside. So, what style do you prefer? So, maybe we'll start by saying kind of what the main ones are in case anyone listening is unfamiliar. So, I would say the main styles, and maybe there's other ones that we're not aware of, but the main styles are convertible tights, which they go over your foot, but they have a hole that when they're on is kind of sits underneath your foot under the arch. And that's so you can put your point shoes, like put your toe pads and stuff on, and then pull them over your toe pads and have them go in your point shoe. So that's one of the main kinds. Then stirrup tights, which is my personal favorite, where it can kind of just slip over the back of the heel. And then footless or cut off tights, which is exactly what it sounds like. They're just cut at the bottom. So they have kind of the same hem as like a pair of workout leggings would have. So those are kind of the main ones. I think they used to, I don't even know if they still make them anymore, tights that are like fully enclosed, like the type of tights you would wear with a dress or for business meeting or something. But I feel like I don't even really see those get sold very much anymore. Like they mostly just make convertible tights if you're going to do fully enclosed over the toes.
As a personal, I would go with convertibles. First, a few reasons. So, convertible, I always like feeling something on my toes. And once you get to a certain point and a certain level in your ballet career, whether it's just as a hobby or as a professional, you need the convertibles to finally put on your point shoes. And the ones that are footless and cut off, those I just don't like it because of the line. I feel like it adds the lines of the point work. Like mostly when you're on the point shoes, if you have those kind of tights, it kind of doesn't flow.
Yeah,
That
doesn't
line in
finish the
leg.
line. It is, and honestly, I mean, that is a real thing because I remember I do not like the feeling of tights in my slippers or my point shoes. I just hate I feel like they make everything feel a little bit like more slippery inside my shoe. And so I always wear stirrup tights. And they kind of continue the line a little bit more than cutoff ones do because they go around your heel. But the first time I wore full tights, like convertible tights with my point shoes, and I put my point shoes on, I felt like my legs looked like a foot longer than they did with wearing cutoff tights or stirrup tights. Like I could not believe visually how different it looked to wear my tights fully in my shoes and get that seamless line. So if you're questioning like does it really make a difference, just try it once because you might be shocked. Like I actually couldn't believe how much better it made the line of my leg look.
It's so much true. It definitely visually, like if you think about it, you are looking at a leg, right? And you're looking at the tight goes all the way down, and then you have a finish line there. So
Yeah.
I will say for aesthetically, I would put in the convertibles. And then because of personal preferences, I will just have the convertibles. I just really love my toes like covered. I don't know, I got used to it.
Oh, and remember the tip that we gave you guys last week while we're on this topic, where if you buy the same brand of tights as you do your point shoes and your ribbons, that line looks even better. So we talked about that either last week or the week before. Yeah, but in case you didn't hear that episode, if you buy the same brand of all of those things, you get that really seamless look because everything is color matched. So that's another little tip. I prefer stirrup.
Yeah, well, preferences, Hannah. But also remember that you used to dance lots of salsa. So I presume that when you wear the tights for dancing salsa, were you wearing those? What do you used to wear with the dancing the heels, the salsa heels?
So salsa is a little bit different because you actually wear fishnets. So you wear flesh-colored fishnets, which are amazing for making your legs look tan. And I loved. It's funny once I start wearing them for salsa for performances, I'd be like, I want to wear these in my regular life every time I wear a dress because they just obviously when you're close up to your legs, you can see the fishnets, but when you're further back, they just make your legs look like you have perfect skin and are more tan. So that was something I had to learn because I started salsa as an adult and doing ballet. It was always tights, like the way that we have tights where like the sheer
feels totally different on your body, right?
But fishnets, they feel very different in your shoes because they're netted, and so your toes sometimes like a toe kind of like pokes through because it's netted. But but I don't know why once I came back to ballet as an adult, stirrup tights that was like what I gravitated towards, and that's pretty much what I wear every day. I have like claustrophobic feet, I think, when it comes to having the tights like over my toes.
But you also mentioned lots that you sweat a lot as well. So I presume that you're like, nah, I can't be bothered with my toes also covered on top of the shoes. Nah.
Yeah, I'm like these toes need air, man. Like putting tights over the top of them is just not my jam. But so that's probably my most worn is stirrup. But then I will wear convertible sometimes when I'm taking point classes and I just want my legs to have that extra little boost of looking long because I'm in the short leg club. So looking to wear convertible tights to make your legs look longer. And I'm like, I will take it. That's what I love about adult ballet is that it's kind of a free-for-all in a lot of ways, which is so fun because you can do what you like, which actually leads into the next part of tights we can talk about, which is color options. We kind of touched on it before, but pink is the main color when you're in training so that teachers can really see your muscle definition. Then I think the second most common color is black. Like I know in adult classes, a lot of people prefer black just because I think even though they're still sheer to a degree, it's like they make you feel a little more covered. Like I remember when I first came back to dancing, I only wore black tights because I was still kind of getting used to being back in a leotard and being back in class. And I was like, I want to just have a little more coverage.
Like exposing yourself to everyone, right?
Yeah, so black is definitely, I think, a little bit more of a comfortable color for a lot of people. And I think black looks really elegant still. Even though you can't see as much of like the definition, I think there's still like an elegant, clean, classic look to black. that is part of what makes it so popular. It's like even in street clothes, black, it's like you can never really go wrong wearing black. It always has that effect, I think, of looking classy and put together. So that's probably the second most common color. And then there's actually been an increase lately of more color options, which I am so here for. I just bought a pair of purple tights a couple months ago.
Of
I
course
was
you did.
so excited that I found purple tights. I was like, this is awesome. There's a brand called Jewel Dancewear that makes a really cool kind of style of tights. They're almost a little more like compressive than normal tights, and they're a little bit more sheer than normal tights. And they have a back seam, which I think the back seam is really fun. We didn't talk about that either, but that's another style preference. Like you can get tights that have the seam up the back, which some people like. And this Jewel brand, they have purple, blue, black. They have
So cool.
yeah, kind of like a tan color. They're just so fun. And I'm like, finally, someone did something different with tights.
Yeah. Yeah, something fun. That's true. Like, and it's so interesting. Like, adults right now having the most fun with ballet that students and professionals do. Like, you actually get to wear anything you want and do anything you want in the ballet classes.
Yeah, it's so fun. I'm like, why not wear purple tights?
Going out of the topic of the tights, sorry people, but going out of the topic, I saw your new leotard from the tutu list, and the one with like the different colors. So cute. I love.
Oh gosh, I love tutulas. Oh my gosh, we've talked about them a lot before we had Sarah on the podcast, but they are just the best secondhand site for dancewear. And I'm a massive book lover reader, and the leotard that Elena's talking about, it's by the brand Chameleon, and it has books all over it. Like the print of the leotard is just brightly colored books. That brand Chameleon does the most fun prints. I love their stuff. I have a leopard print leotard from them. It's so fun. And the thing I love about theirs too is that you can also wear them as bathing suits because they just, they're like a really simple cut.
You would love to live in your ballet clothes.
Listen, with the amount of money I spend on ballet clothes, you better believe I'm double dipping. I'm gonna wear this as a bathing suit because I paid good money for this. You can wear them however you want. You paid for them, so
Definitely. So now back, I'm sorry for that distraction. Back into the tights. What are your favorite brands, Hannah? Because I know now that we're talking about you love ballet clothes. What did you try different brands? And which ones would be like the ones that you know of, and which ones are your favorite?
So I've tried quite a few just because of where I was buying them. Like my local dance store has certain brands, and I found different brands online. And I think my favorites are Gainer Minden. Their tights are so soft and they do not run. I have had this pair of black Gainer Minden stirrup tights for like 3 years and they never run, and they are the softest fabric. I love them so much. And even the waistband, it's not one that really digs in and pinches. It's just like a really soft waistband. So that's a favorite. I love Jewel, like I mentioned before. They're the ones that are doing like the really fun colors. So I have a pair of black tights from them and a pair of purple tights. So those are really fun. I think for traditional pink colors, my favorite brand is Zerly. I recently tried a couple different styles of theirs and really loved the way that they fit and then like the softness of the fabric. I like soft tights. I think sometimes tights have this like itchy, scratchy kind of feel that just does not make them fun to put on or to wear. And so I really appreciate it when tights are soft and you're like, oh, this is nice. So Zerly, I love. They're a really nice brand, and they have a really nice tone to the pink. They're almost a little bit pink slash flesh colored. They're not like pink pink. So I feel like they're flattering on because they have a little bit of that like flesh tone undertone to them. So what about you? Because you've tried energetics and I haven't. So what do you think of energetics tights?
I love the energetic tights. When I was sponsored by them, like I just started a YouTube channel. So that was like 3 or 4 years, maybe even more. I think like 5 years ago, I started a YouTube channel. Can't remember. I got the tights and I wear them every class. I wear them for like every time I record, every time I teach, I'm wearing my tights. And they are like new. And it might be like 3 or 4 pair of them. And they are like new. They don't look like I wore them every day. The top, that little elastic on the top 80s and like really tight. It's like soft and nice. And they are convertible. And they that like that little hole under the arch, they actually had the seam around it, so you can stretch them, but at the same time they stay a little bit more tight. It's not even uncomfortable. They are really, really, really nice. So I would say give it a try. But something that I will say is, if you are starting ballet as a beginner and you don't really know where to start, please don't go to Amazon. Please don't go and buy Chinese and let's say 500,000 of them made in the same day at the same time. If you're a beginner, you go to a ballet class when you don't know what you're doing yet, and you put very uncomfortable tights, and it has these like, I don't know, you feel claustrophobic on them. Oh gosh, that's gonna ruin your day and your experience with ballet. I really think when you go as a beginner, it will be your first expenses on ballet. Really go and buy a good brand of tights, a nice leotard.
Yeah, I think that's very true because I think sometimes, you know, when you're starting a new hobby, you think, okay, I just want to test. I don't know if I'm going to like this. So I don't want to spend a bunch of money. But I think, if anything, just then maybe use athletic leggings for your first few classes and don't buy any rather than buying ones that are cheap and not well made. Cause like you said, I mean, and a lot of times too, those run faster. And so you just end up having to throw them out. And, you know, that's just like more waste in a landfill somewhere. So it's better to, you know, buy a nicer quality that's actually going to last you and you're going to get some wear out of. And like you said, they're going to be comfortable and they're not going to be distracting you while you're in class because they're digging and in your waist and they're running, and it's no fun. So I think spending a little bit more to get an actual ballet brand, because there, you know, there's a reason when they're made by a ballet brand. It's because they know what dancers need and what dancers like,
Yeah.
especially if you're buying from like a really well-known brand like Gaynor Minden or Capezio, or, you know, they know. So, you know, and then over time you kind of develop your preferences for certain brands, but you're really not going to go wrong buying ballet tights from a ballet brand. And they should last longer as long as you're taking care of them and how you wash them. I tend to either wash them by hand or I put them in one of those bags for delicates and I throw them in the wash, but I wash them inside a delicates bag. And so that'll prolong the life of them too if you are gentle in how you wash them.
Yeah, I do the same. I don't know if it's because I got used to being in the boarding school. I didn't have my mom every day to wash my tights and or whatever. So I remember that I got used to every day after I finished my ballet class, even if I had like tights for every day, I wouldn't put them and wait for my mom to wash them because I knew that they would get like smelly or whatever. So I would get back to the dormitory. I would take my tights, and as I'm in the shower, I would wash them.
That's smart.
That was just perfect for me, and I got used to it. It's like you create this slowly, you create a habit that stays with you forever. So now I don't wash them in the shower, but I do wash them by hand. So I do definitely. And leotards, a lot of time I do the same. Although there is a point where I pass them through, just like a rinse them on the washing machine because sometimes it's faster, and then I just dry them without the dryers.
And I think too, I mean, some people, you might know this already, but if you don't, your sweat actually degrades the fabric faster. So I think the sooner you can wash, like you said, you would wash your tights right after class. Obviously, if they have to sit in the laundry for a day or two, it's not the end of the world. But like over time, the faster you get the sweat and stuff out of them, it's not as much wear and tear on the fabric because our sweat tends to break down the material faster. So the sooner you can wash things is always the better. But yeah, I love that, like just bringing them into the shower. There's also too one thing I wanted to mention before we wrap up, because obviously tights wear out eventually, no matter how good the brand is. But there is a tights recycling program that it's run by an organization called Ballet OK, and they will send you for free a recycling box that you can put in the lobby of your studio. And anyone who has tights that they're not using anymore, they're worn out, they can just bring them to the studio, toss them in that box. Then once the box is full, you ship it back to them and they recycle all the tights and it's all free.
Amazing.
Isn't that so cool? It's all free.
Oh, amazing. I'm gonna check if they have that here in Australia, really. Could be a great idea to put everywhere in the world.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the US, so I know they do it here for the US. And it's cool because once you fill up the box, send it back, then they give you a discount on a new pair of tights. And the brand is actually Zerly, the tights that they give you a discount for, which is a brand that I have been personally loving. So great quality tights, and you can get a discount on your next pair. And you're also keeping the tights out of the landfill, and they use them. They either upcycle them or recycle them.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And we'll put the link to their information in the show notes. So if you are someone who, especially if you dance at a studio, because obviously the box will fill a lot faster the more dancers are throwing stuff into it. But it's completely free to you to do it. You just have to reach out to them and they'll send you the box. And I just think it's a really cool way to, again, keep stuff out of the landfill. And then also you get a discount on your next pair of tights.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I hope everyone loved this episode. Like always, we try to make them short and precise, but it's probably going to be another 35, 45 minutes episode. So I hope everyone enjoyed the episode. We always do. We always love talking to each other for like hours and hours.
We hope that this one was helpful for you guys. You're probably at the beginning of the episode thinking, how the heck could you do an entire podcast on tights? But you can do a whole episode on tights. There's a lot of different things. So we'll link all of our favorite brands in the show notes, and we'll also link to the recycling program. So if you guys are interested in that, you can do that as well. But thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See ya! Thank you for listening to After Class.
Join the community on YouTube and Instagram, or come dance with us, our weekly Zoom classes for adult ballerinas like you.
Links included in the episode description. Special thank you to our sponsors.
See you next time after class. Podcast produced by Mission Bridge Media.